Ryan Day should be escorted from the premises of Ohio State right now and placed in police custody for what he did yesterday. CJ Stroud's scholarship should be revoked for his outright refusal to run the football. Not inability, outright refusal to run the football. It's like he thinks it's beneath him. He shouldn't have to run because he's a quarterback. Well, I got news for you. The read option, they don't even defend it. I've noticed it all year. When they do it, you know defensive coordinators already tell their defense, under no circumstances will CJ Stroud run. And his inability, his refusal to outright run the football yesterday cost his team at least a 24-3 halftime lead. Ohio State outplayed him in the first half. Should have been up big. But when people were covered downfield, we've seen C.J. Stroud refusal to run. He would rather throw the ball for a 2-yard loss in the flat because he wouldn't run the ball. And some people say, well, he's probably trying to protect his professional career, or is he terrified? I think it's the latter. I think he's actually terrified to run the ball. CJ, you played for a team that could have used you yesterday in the first half. You could have put that game out of reach in the first half. We knew Harbaugh was going to outcoach Day in the second half, but it could have been a different story. Ryan Day's horrible. There was no adjustments from Ryan Day whatsoever. Ryan Day is a clueless moron when it comes to coaching. He's Kevin Stefanski. I mean, you made McCarthy look like a superstar yesterday, and he's not even good. I mean, everything was on a broken play. And your refusal to make the adjustments was an embarrassment and an indictment on how bad you are as a coach. You've been beat by Michigan 2 straight years, and not only beaten, you've been embarrassed, bullied. Your team got bullied. You had a look on your face like bewildered, belittled, and discombobulated with your little Just for Men dyed beard. What type of clown dyes their fucking beard? Fucking idiot. The bottom line is Ryan Day should have charges pressed on him for that pathetic performance. And C.J. Stroud should have a scholarship revoked because his outright refusal to run the ball when the opportunity presented itself cost Ohio State. He played an integral part of that loss. Ryan Day played a major part of that loss. Both years in a row, Ryan Day's outright refusal to make any adjustments and to have his team even 1 ounce ready for that game led to the losses. But in the first half, the Ohio State should have been up like 24-3 at half. And I do put a lot of that blame on Stroud. And a lot of it on Ryan Day. They should have continued running the ball, but he wanted to have a wide open offense for some fucking reason. What's he doing? Trying out for the new coaching job or something? Did you think you were going to go to the Cleveland Browns and get a coaching job? Not going to happen. You are in Cleveland Browns right now. You're Kevin Stefanski at the collegiate level. So Ohio State got bullied and battered again by Michigan. When you get outcoached by Jim Harbaugh at the collegiate level, you've done something. What you've done is not something good. As a defensive coordinator, you're playing Ohio State. You already know C.J. Stroud's not going to run. So when that read option is basically useless. He had a walk-in touchdown if he wanted it yesterday, but they already knew he wasn't going to run. I mean, he could have basically kept the ball and walked in. They don't even play him. And that's a problem. Ohio State, your next quarterback better be a guy that will run the ball, because now we know why Urban Meyer had guys that run the ball, because if you have a quarterback that downright or outright refuses to run the ball, it's going to cost you. And it cost Ohio State yesterday. But the majority of that loss goes on Ryan Day. He should have continued to run the ball, and his coaching in the second half was non-existent. He got bullied, battered, and discombobulated by Harbaugh. And Michigan came in and just planted their flag. The big house is now moved to the Horseshoe. And I'm not a big college football fan. I wanted Ohio State to win, but I could care less. I know there's Buckeye fans out there right now going nuts about this loss, and as well they should be, because their coach showed no life and their quarterback's outright refusal to run. I mean, he'd sit back there, everyone's covered, then he'd throw in the flat. Guy gets tackled for a 2-yard loss when he could have just ran up the middle for like 15 yards. Extended plays, extended drives. Instead of kicking field goals early in that game, you could have been up 24-3. So I put a lot of this loss on Stroud. He had a bad game at one of the worst times. Is he pro ready? I used to think so. After yesterday, I'm not so sure. He can throw a football accurately, I can tell you that. I'll give him that. But Ohio State needs to fire Day immediately. Revoke Stroud's scholarship. Don't let him play no more. Build for the future. And they should not put this team in a playoff, because they're not ready for a playoff, and they're not good enough to be in a playoff. And quite frankly, they'd embarrass themselves in the playoffs with Ryan Day coaching him and Stroud's. Oh, when you guard Stroud, just put everybody back in coverage. You don't have to account for him, except his throwing. That's it. Put everybody back in coverage, because you know damn well you can leave the yard 20 yards open. He's not going to run. His outright refusal to run is going to make a defensive coordinator's dreams to guard him. Embarrassing. Ding, 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 ding.